looks Jimmy Horny. Whoa, whoa.
Pause.
Whoa. Deion Sanders just finished his third spring practice out there in Boulder, Colorado, and it was interesting. It's probably the biggest highlights and biggest takeaways before we get into the reactions and a few different things is that Julian Lewis came out with the starting offense. Now, what does that really mean? We're going to go into detail because I don't think it means as much as it might seem on the surface, but I think it was a good little showing. I think it was a good outing. Like most times in the spring, offense was struggling a little bit, but defense, you were seeing a lot of the good things that you want to see. You saw some energy. You saw some flying around. You saw some thumping. You saw some people at the line. Dallin Hayden looked great. And I got to be honest with you, if you're a Colorado fan, you want Kaden Salter to start. He looked calm, cool, and collective. But let's actually get into the reaction first. We had a little stream reaction here. I initially recorded this, but my voice sounded a little fuzzy, so we're gonna do it this time and start from this game, watch the team period, and then kind of give our opinions there. All right, here we go. So this is right at the team period here, and this is when we found out that what's it called, like we said, Julian Lewis is gonna come out with the starting offense. Now another thing that's important to point out here, Omarion Miller, he did dress, but he wasn't in pads, so he had his jersey or whatnot on. He was on the sideline. I know people didn't see him.
Starting quarterback
Julian Lewis. I know a lot of people were afraid that him not being there, what that means is a portal thing. But from what we could see, it'll show him on the sideline here at one point. But here it is, Julian Lewis's first snap, starting quarterback for the dang Colorado Buffaloes. Actually hands the ball off. I believe that is Brendan Hood. It's pretty far out there. And the rest of the starting offense, we're going to read it off, but it's Draylon Miller out there. You got Timmons out there. You got obviously Dallin Hayden. I already said Draylon. You got the other tight end. That's not Zach Atkins. I only know Zach Atkins' name for the tight end wise. Defense, you got DJ McKinney out there. Tawik, I forgot how to say his last name. Draylon's going to go in motion here. Straight drop back. And he finds his running back right off the gate. I will tell you, for the rest of the game, Julian Lewis is not afraid to hit his checkdowns. Now, that can be a pro and a negative, but at the end of the day, as long as he's getting his ball out the hand as a young quarterback, I think it's important. Now, something very important is about to happen here, and we'll kind of talk through it. But before that happens, I do want to kind of speak about the whole starting, quote-unquote, offense. You'll see when Kaden comes out. I don't think that's really what's going on. I think it's more of a split offense, but pay attention to this because this is mightily important to what he's got going on. He's going to roll left, and it gets swatted down. Now, pay attention because I don't think that this was Julian Lewis, just being slow. I think it was a combination of a few things, and because when this happens and then the other thing you're about to see happens, you're going to be like, oh, I think it's also a bit of an adjustment. So adjustment, right, new plays, and the lights, even though they're not bright, that sun is bright. This is his first time playing in a packed Folsom Field. Remember, he's like 17 years old, right? This is a 17-year-old kid, first time running some of these offensive plays, going out with the number one offense. It's not a packed crowd, but there's a lot of people in the crowd. And what do you do with it, Juju? Hands the ball off. Boom! Nice. Cool little carry there from Brendan Hood. I'm blue balling y'all. I'm sorry. That's not the play either. Sorry. I thought it was the play, but I'm almost 10 times 10% sure that this is the play right here. And like I said, yeah, okay. So this is the play. I look, man. I honeyed shit, and I want to make sure I gave as much bail as possible. But so that happens, right? And that's happened to the best of us. Okay. That has happened to the best of us, as you see. And I think what happened here is young player, right? You do something that you probably don't want to do, in front of the bright lights. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to respond to that? And it seemed like this kind of added another level of frustration to him. And we'll watch it here. It looks like he hit knees. And then after that, he just couldn't get his feet up under him. And that was it, man. And you hate to see that. You hate to see the frustration. But you'd be surprised. Now, Kaden Salter is going to come out. Not just yet, because they still got some more. This is 3rd and 10. Kaden Salter is going to come out. And because right now it looks really grim. It looks like just a defense that's out there. And to go back to some of these starters, you got Isaiah Harge, you got Timmons out there, Colonel Tate out there, Carol Mike. Here we go. Julian Lewis does get another chance here. See what he does with it. Straight drop back. He's going to lick left, unload left. And one of his favorite targets, that's 1-8. That's not 8. And then they're going to come out and I believe punt here. Yep, they're going to punt. And now it's time for, I call it the Kaden Salter show, because he gets in here, boy, and it's a well-oiled machine. I got to be honest with you. This is supposedly the second offense. You do have transfer Zach Atkins out of Southwestern Missouri. Kaden Salter's there. And look, defense is there. Defense is right there. I don't think that's Killian Salter, his brother, or Kylan Salter. That's Jeremiah Brown. That was Kylan Salter. So that was Kylan Salter. Obviously, he's also a transfer. And believe it or not, he is a Kaden Salter's, brother. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I think they went TV timeout. Yeah, they went TV timeout. Give them a second. They're yapping with Seaton or whatnot. These TV timeouts would be brutal too. So false start. We start there. Good thing I skipped past that. But clearly this is clearly the second offensive line. I will say that. And I'll go deeper in what I mean by the split offense. Right, you're gonna see Zach Atkins here. You're gonna see Zach Atkins line up with the other offense, with the other set of offensive linemen. But right now you got a lot of rookies or freshmen in right now, and I think more so Deion Sanders and Pat Schumer are testing Kaden Salter and seeing, hey, what can you do with nothing, right? What can you do with the backup set of running backs, the backup offensive line? I'm going to give you a bunch of rookies. I'm going to give you freshmen. You got 14, that's Quanell Farrakhan. You got number 8, who's actually the transfer out of Tulsa. What's it called? This dude was tripping. He don't know nothing about nothing. Number 8, obviously Joseph Williams, transfer out of Tulsa. Quentin Gibson, the true freshman out of Texas, not University of Texas, but the state of Texas here. And you're gonna see this. It's gonna get real nasty. It's gonna be looking weird. It's not gonna look the best. But as 6'1", I mean, being able to find your tight end, and then, that boy dynamic with the ball too. So I thought that was great. Not just do we get a safety blanket type throw with Kaden Salter, but better than that, you can see Zach Atkins can move. He gets that ball and he immediately gets jiggy with it. Finds a nice first down here. So yeah, I think this is more so a split there. Look, you have Isaiah Harge, who is going to line up again with this offense and the other offense. You have Omarion Miller. That's a false start. You have Omarion Miller again, who's not even dressed, fully out there. So I think this is one of those things. And if you've ever played spring football, this is not something crazy, but that's what they did for one of my spring practices, where they had starting defense, but it wasn't the starting defense. It was like some ones mixed in with some guys in there, right? You might be next to a number 2 and then another number 1, and then on the other side, and it's to more give a little bit of competition. You can't just have 1s on 2s. Oftentimes in high school, unless you go to one of them big top tier high schools, as Caden rolls right and find somebody for a little skip and scamper. Our cameraman is not doing the best job, but and what that'll do is kind of even out the teams a little bit, and get some. You want to see different matchups. I think that's the best thing. And if you could find a matchup where your number 1 wide receiver is going against your number 1 cornerback with your number 2 safety helping over the top, okay, what does that look like? What does that look like with a less talented safety? What does it look like with a more talented safety? What does it look like, if you're Kaden Salter, the starter here, who tries to get him, I think they threw a flag there. What's it called? Who tries to kind of keep things going? What does it look like when you don't have the best equipped? And I want to talk about number 8 and number 14. We can talk. Y'all know about 15. Y'all know about Quentin Gibson. And I know y'all know about 8 and 14, but I think those two guys, they have such a similar profile to me, and through the dynamism, I don't know how to say words. Y'all have already told me how to do it. I'm still not saying it right. The difference, right? The variety of wide receiver that Colorado has. I think Quanell and he's had a battery problem. I think Quanell and Joseph Williams stand out in the fact that they are both similar in height, but similar in what they do good, and that's being at the catch point. I think they're going to dominate some of those back shoulder fades. You're going to see that Julian Lewis, specifically in the practice, Julian Lewis almost like when Jalen Hurts just instantly throws it to A.J. Brown. If he sees a one-on-one, it's almost that feeling where if he gets a one-on-one, specifically to the boundary, I've seen a lot of where he's just going to look, process, and, I got to do something. I know I got one-on-one on the left side. Let Quanell go make a play. Let Joseph Williams go make a play. And oftentimes, they definitely do go make some big-time plays. So they're going to send the tight end in motion here. Look, again, Zach Atkins was in, and then you have this tight end in now. The running game starts to find some teeth and find some stuff. I really do think that I think Colorado needs to stay away from zone. I really do. I think that is what's limiting them run-wise. Now, sometimes zone can help you mask up some problems, but I think for them, they just need to be cracking. They need to be running counters. They need to be running sweeps. They need to get these big boys moving and not all in one direction, right? They need to have some misdirection. There's a lot of, if you notice, one of the, I think, things that have been shocking me the most is how much motion has been used, right? That was a big point of contention last year when you talk about Shedeur Sanders and you talk about that offense, right? When Pat Shurmur just wasn't really helping them with tight ends. What prominent tight end play did you see last year, right? And now you're seeing two different tight ends working as H-backs. So clearly that is something that Pat Shurmur is going to want to continue to keep up with and keep keep building upon when you come into the season. Like that's just helping your quarterback, right? You're either going to have a young quarterback or a quarterback who's more so known for his legs than it is his arms. So as much as you can help him identify as Isaiah Harge, who I think is going to be an absolute star. I think he's just going to line up everywhere in the slot and terrorize. As much as you can help him, the better. And speaking of Isaiah Harge, I know I talked about Quanell. I know I talked about Jeremiah, and I know they're going to be jump ball. They're going to be those types of guys, catch point, back shoulder fade, XYZ. When I look at Isaiah Harge, comparative to Quentin Gibson, right? Quentin Gibson is that explosive guy that I can see gadgety, but I think Isaiah Harge can do everything, right? I think he's a little more stout. He's a little more knowledgeable, right? I think he's a little more of a true wide receiver, as where Quentin Gibson is more of a gadget guy. And I say that to say as that right rolls, and guess who you hit? You hit Quentin Gibson. I really like the play calling. I really feel like Pat Shurmur is really doing his best to attack space, pros and cons, whether it be on the offensive side or defensive side. And I think it's building out some good stuff. But like I was saying with Isaiah Harge, I think he's a technical guy, right? As much as I think Quentin Gibson is going to turn into a Jimmy Horn and continue to find his place there, I think Isaiah Harge is already there when it comes to his contact balance and his confidence when he has the ball in his hand and when he's there looking to be a safety blanket for his quarterback, right? I think Zach Atkins can do a great job of that, but can you do that as a wide receiver? LeJonte Worcester did a great job of that last year, right? Just because you're not a big giant guy doesn't mean that you can't still be a safety blanket. As Restrepo, as Cam Ward and Restrepo, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just need a guy that you can go to who's going to make himself friendly as possible to the quarterback as they try to run the ball again. And back on my point about zone scheme and how I really think that they're going to have to just live and die by gap. Because when things hit for them, they hit. He can, Dallin Hayden has been hitting some pretty big runs when it comes to practice. Now that is practice, right? And I really feel like not the identity, but things look a little cleaner and a little smoother when they're going to gap than when they're doing more of those zone type things, right? And you can help yourself with the with some of the motion that you're clearly wanting to do to get some leverage, to get some different block angles, to maybe incorporate your tight ends on some clear out blocks and different things like that. So if they want to get inventive with it, I think that is the best thing as an offensive coordinator. I think the best offensive coordinators find inventive ways to run the same plays, right? That is the hallmark, right? As Sean McVay, he helped in revolutionizing all this motion and misdirection and stuff like that. Obviously, he's not the first one. He's a young guy that did it and added to it. But he that nomenclature from him was, hey, we're going to run 3 plays, but we're going to line up 7 different ways, have 15 different motions with it. And that's just helping, right? You need to help. You need to help your quarterback as much as possible at the collegiate level, as this is not helping. This is like with their 4th false start. That's bad. Bad bees. Bad game here. Let's see if we can get something going here. Oh, wait, we missed something. Hold on. I want to see this. Here it is. He hikes it. Kaden Salter's looking right. And Joseph Williams is right there. Nice. Not bad at all. After this drive, because there is another drive, but we've got some more highlights that we're going to review. I thought there was one other play. Oh, I want to show you this Dallin Hayden run. So we'll go through this. We're going to stop after that big Dallin Hayden run. You'll see when it comes. It's not here. It's going to be on the other side of the offense. I think this play is super good. It shows, if this is the play, hopefully I don't blue ball y'all again and mess up. I think this is the play. So he's going to, go out there and, oh my goodness. The kid, he was making those catches. What's it called? He was making those catches all day long in practice. So when you see it from the other angle, you can see that it wasn't just a case of oh man, he couldn't get that. This was this thing was up there and he got up there too. He tried, I think, his best, but that was not a fun landing. That was not a fun landing. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. But still inspiring to see from him, you know what I mean? Get after it there. Kaden Salter again. Again, Joseph Williams is going to be a beast. I think Jaheim Hodis is right there in the middle on the defensive side. What's it called? They try it again, and they get nothing out of it, sadly. So they're going to go into another TV timeout. This is a long TV timeout, too, boy. We was just vibing in the live stream. So Julian Lewis back out there again, and we're going to go ahead and finish this off whenever, at least the reaction part, whenever Dallin Hayden breaks off that run. And now Julian Lewis back not under center, but back doing it again. Gets another pass batted down. Shout out to him for having the awareness to y'all ain't doing that to me. I ain't pick six in me. That's not happening, fam. Not over here. Not around here. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So that's dope. That's easy. That's smooth. Like I said, we're gonna pack this up as soon as Dallin Hayden hits this nice run. I'm loving the the motion. Dallin Hayden takes one step, boom, and then the burst to get to that third level, man. That's what I've been seeing in spring. That's what I always, if y'all been watching, I've been saying, hey, Dallin Hayden, he keeps breaking them. I don't know if this is just a I don't know if this is simply just a offensive line thing. If it's a spring thing, if it's a thud thing. Speaking of, hey, who is a star or not, this boy right here, Quentin Gibson. Now, this was in the 7-on-7. I stopped watching after the 7-on-7 for the live stream, but hey, man, he looks Jimmy Horny. Whoa! Oh my goodness, that was crazy. You know what I mean? He looks Jimmy Horn-ish. Should I go like that, like a Cornish dove? But yeah, that's that. Going for the starters again. These are just the more so projected starters of what we've seen so far. So from Colorado's first team offensive line, it is Jordan Seaton. Obviously, Jordan Seaton, Zach Owens, Zarian McGill, who's the transfer. Zai Crystal, also a transfer. Right tackle, Mana Tamani, another transfer. On the defensive side, defensive line, Quincy Wiggins, Tyweek Thomas, Anquan Barnes, Arden Walker on the edge, linebacker Martavius French, Reggie Hughes, who is also a transfer. Defensive backs, we got DJ McKinney, Tyweek Byard out of USF, Ben Fineseth, Carter Stoudemire, and RJ Johnson, who is actually a homegrown recruit for at least, has been with Colorado for another year. Colorado's first team skill position players at today was Julian Lewis, down here at running back, tight end Savell Smalls. Again, I don't think that's going to be the real number one. Cam Michael, Draylon Miller, and Terrell Timmons as starting wide receivers. Again, I don't think that is who should be the starting wide receivers. But y'all let me know. We watched a little bit of the spring game. But I think the biggest takeaways is that, like a lot of spring games, you know what I'm saying, there's going to that's a normal thing, right? Like I said, if this is your first spring game, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be a lot left to decide from the offensive side. They're still learning a lot. Defense is allowed to kind of fly around. So the defense looked pretty good. I got to be honest with you. And the offense definitely had a lot of bright spots. But y'all let me know what y'all are worried about, what y'all do want, what y'all don't want coming from Colorado and the next changes as we see the next time they play football, which is ain't going to be till it's real hot outside, man. It's a sad, sad time. this is the end of some football for some while. We have some more spring games and stuff that we can talk about. So if y'all want to see anything else particularly, y'all let me know. Comment down below. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you want to see college football content, daily stuff. We do plenty of Colorado stuff, man. We'll see you next time. Peace.